whether you're a veterinary professional, whether you're a pet owner or anyone, pet sitters, trainers, everyone needs to know, because what's inevitable in life is death. My special guest, Dr. Dani McVety, is an expert on dealing with the end of life with both clients and the pets themselves. And myself as a veterinary professional, I'm sure I speak for many out there. In general, we're actually introverts, and I actually coined myself as an introvert who I do extroversion things just to purposely enforce myself to be so. But many of us are introverts, and as a result, it is difficult for us to communicate as well as we want to our clientele. And I think the exception is the person I'm talking to, Dr. Dani McVety. Why don't we talk about the actual pointers or any point of advice you can give, especially to new grads coming out, because they not only are struggling with just dealing with doing the medicine, inevitably they have to deal with this sort of format as well.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it goes back to kind of why. Why are we all introverts? And I think if we understand why, we might be able to relate with our clients even more as well, because, and I could be wrong, this is my theory, okay? But I believe that so many of us are inspired to be veterinarians because we love animals. And even though there's other things that are around it also, it's the heart of it is that we love animals. And perhaps we have had stronger animal connections in our lives than we have had human connections. It's just an idea. I don't know. But I do know that that's a lot of my clients, is that they are more connected to their animals in some ways than they have ever been to humans in their life. So that helps us kind of understand, okay, who are we? What are we all in this for? Even when a client wants to get angry at us, which happens a lot in the ER for something that they're just grieving about, it's like, listen, we're both on the same page here. We both want Fluffy to be okay. We both want Max to make it through this. So we're on the same team. It's just a matter of what's available to us and what we're going to do. So let's talk about that, what we can do. And students are my passion. Like I'm 34 myself, and just to throw out, how the things in our lives that you never know how they're going to come back around us. But I failed nutrition when I was in vet school. And so I had to repeat my freshman year of veterinary school. And I think that gave me 4 years of, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, fear of failure, just like, I appear like a huge introvert. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No. I appear like a huge extrovert, but the older that I'm getting, I'm 34 now, the older that I'm getting, I do find like the more introverted I'm becoming. Like I really like my alone time, I don't know why.
You're becoming famous.
No, not at all. But no, I and then I tell the students, I'm like, listen, you have to extrovert. Like you have to connect with the people that are attached to that animal, because they're the ones, if they don't trust you, and I'm like, trust me, because I graduated in the bottom of the class. So trust me when I tell you that they don't care where you graduated in the class. They care about whether or not you care about their pet, period. And I can have a person that has 18 letters after their name go in and talk to the client. But if I can go in and gain better rapport and trust, they will sign a treatment plan with me. And they may not sign it with somebody else just because they don't like him.
It's
right?
all about trust. You're right. You're absolutely
all
right.
Trust, which is also why, and you can tell like how my mind works now. Like I'm like, I'm not smart to be a veterinarian. How do I have skills that I can culture because I don't have the medical skills? I do, of course, but when you're a young kid and you get held back, like that's the worst thing that can happen to you as a 22-year-old. So I got out when I began doing this. I'm like, listen, I walk into people's homes and they're strangers. They don't know me. And I go kill their best friend. That's what I'm doing. That's their perspective of it. So how do I gain rapport and trust? And what am I doing that someone isn't doing? So long story short, I went and got body language certified. And it was this most amazing course. So I took a course that was 5 days long on how to teach body language, how to convey it to other people, and how to have them appear confident, appear trustworthy, all that stuff.
You just made me paranoid right now.
Everybody always says that.
I'm like, okay, what signs am I giving you right now?
So it's fine. I can't see it. Whenever I say that, I know everyone always gets fidgety. I'm like, listen, just because I took a course doesn't mean I'm perfect at it at all. It just means that I can just tell when you're not. That's it. Communication like that. And I always tell students too, I'm like, listen, if this whole veterinary thing doesn't work out for me, I want to be an FBI negotiator. Like, I think that is the coolest job. But like, how cool is it to be in front of somebody, which is what we do also, right? That's stressed out and worried and have no idea, and then walk them through that process. And I remember even when I got out, I was doing emergency medicine, and my biggest fear was that a pet was in better hands with a different doctor than they were with me. That was a big fear of mine, just in my own. So I got to that point where I was like, you know what? I don't care if they know what's happening medically with their pet, because that's not their job, the family's job. It's their family's job is to be there in love and, you know, to care for their pet. And I got to the point within months of graduating, I'm like, I want them to walk out of that hospital thinking, you know what? I'm not really sure what's going on, but I trust her. Yeah. And she's got my back. And I didn't care that they understood the flow of renal blood and this and that, blah, blah. You know, like I just got off of that. I'm like, I just need them to trust me. And it worked for me. It just worked for me, not for everybody, but worked for me.
Well, with all these management blogs and stuff, they do talk about gaining that client's trust, and we are one of the most trusted professions in the world. And it's funny because it's funny that you talk about quality care. So I have an associate who can walk circles around me, and it's funny because I'll have clients and if I'm not there the next day or whatever, and I know they're in the better hands with me medically, right, but they're talking about me. And so the way I get around this is clearly because I got great communication with her, is we talk medically, and I just reassure the client, you know, that they're in the best of hands. But it's all about trust. It's all about trust. And I think that's why it's important that the young vets get their communication skills down, be able to talk about things, because what you're doing, as you say, that last, we're that profession that we can see a patient from birth to death. And it's very rare that any other medical profession does this. So you have to gain that trust, because when it comes to that end of life thing, I think that's one of the most trustworthy things, because that client will then determine how things went, whether they want you to continue that relationship with them. Yeah. But
we are more like pediatricians than we are like general practitioners, you know, in the human realm, and more like, you know, the mechanics of the world that we were 100 years ago. I mean, that's how our profession started, was by fixing the horses and the cows that were pulling the plows and, you know, taking the produce to the farmer's market and that kind of stuff. We're pediatricians now. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to it won't swing any other way other than this way. It's going to continue to get more. I mean, I grew up on a farm, so I had, you know, outside dogs and outside cats. I mean, you can't even adopt a cat from the Humane Society if you say it's going to be outside. You know what I mean? Like, they won't allow you to adopt the cat. So like, they expect animals to be inside now. And so they are, and they're the members of the family that can't speak for themselves. Yes. And they never let us down either, right? Like, they never let us down. They don't judge us. I mean, I think some of the hardest euthanasias for me are that late 20s, you know, that age of like the late 20s, the human, that's because that's their kid. But it's the one that they got, the first soul that they were ever responsible for when they got out of their parents' home. The one that saw them through boyfriends and girlfriends and breakups and marriages and children. I mean, it's that important. So that is always one of the more difficult ages for me. That appointment, you lead them. Now we're going to do this. Are you okay with that? Do you have any questions? You know, it's you have to, because we're going to do this thousands of times in our profession, you know, in our career, but they're going to go through this once, twice, maybe 5 times in their lifetime.